welcome again to Curating Life with Ireti. Today I have two amazing guests, and we're going to be talking about something very important that you like to listen to. So please get ready, get your pen and paper, and subscribe. Very, very important. Subscribe before you start to watch. Okay, I have two amazing entrepreneurs who are really successful. They've done amazing. I have Wale Rabiu and Oluwole, my very good friends who have been doing so well, my rich friends, I will call them. And so we're going to be talking about a very important topic, new country, new also, how to build a successful business abroad. And so if you're there and you're listening and you're still in like 9 to 5 corporate work and you're looking to bust out into starting your own business and you don't know how to do it, or you've not had the confidence to even do it, just stay where you are and listen to this conversation today. And so let's get started. I would like them to introduce themselves first, and then we'll get into the questions for today. You know the amazing thing? I just realized that I worked with both of them in corporate at some point in my career, and they both busted out into starting their own businesses, and they're doing well. So maybe it's a cue for me to do the same. I hope my employer is not listening to this. I love my job, just so you know. All right. So we'll start with Wale Rabiu.
My name is Wale Rabiu. I'm from Jebu. I've been in Canada for 9 years. I came in 2016 with my family. Like you said, we worked together at Rogers since I joined Rogers 2016. I left 2019. But before leaving, I started the business in 2018. March. I eventually left April 2019. So I did both together for about a year. Yeah.
And your business?
Yes. I left when the Rogers job started disturbing my business. Initially, it was my business disturbing my 9 to 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Business disturbing 9 to 5?
9 to 5, yeah, that was how it all started. Well, for most entrepreneurs, you should start that way. You're stealing time of your employer, like you're doing now.
Who?
You.
Okay, I'm not cut that out. Because no, I'm not, because I do this on the weekend, so this is not my work hours anyway.
So in 2018, we started the bakery business, and like I said, I had to run it side by side with my 9 to 5 job for a year before I stopped. The business started growing in 2019. In 2018, for the first 3 months, we saw a very, very slow but steady growth. Then, at some point, I decided to take a leave of absence. I'm sure we met at that point.
Yeah.
So I took a leave of absence just to be sure the business was actually worth my time. Like I said, I was willing to devote more time to it. That was impacting on my 9 to 5. So I took 3 months leave of absence. Then I now realized that yes, I think within the first 2-3 weeks, I saw the impact immediately. Being available 8 hours of the day at the minimum on my business made a whole lot of difference. So I just needed all I needed was just 4 weeks, and at that point, I went back to work. Not only because I've seen all I wanted to see, because again, another problem now came up. That bi-weekly salary thing stopped
coming in.
It stopped coming in, and that had its own impact again. So I just had to run back. But I saw all I needed to see already in that 4 weeks, and that's how I had to devote more time into the business, and I'm sure it's still going to have a lot of
I will, definitely, I'm going to get
so
there.
Grey Matlock Bakery is a bread business. We bake bread and pastries. So what we brought to Canada from Nigeria was actually agege bread. That's all we wanted to do, because when we arrived in Canada, we realized that we were even struggling to eat bread. The kind of bread that we wanted to eat or we preferred to eat was not available.
Yeah.
The closest was the Ghana bread from the Ghana bakeries, But it wasn't even tasting like our bread, and it was even more difficult to come back. From here, this part of town, you have to drive to North York, or you wait for them to bring it on a Thursday or a Friday, once in a week. And so we saw a gap in the market, and we saw that business in that gap, and that's how we latched on it. And we set up the bakery. Of course, there's some other details
Yeah.
in between, but we'll talk about it.
Well, that's good because you just answered my first question. I was going to say what inspired you to do that, and it's the need,
Yeah.
and I think the need probably came from you as well. You wanted to eat agege bread, and there was no agege bread, and you thought, I'm sure there are thousands of people that want to do this as well, and you decided to start.
The need actually came from multiple places.
Okay.
The need for the business came from multiple sources, not just from me. I think I would say mine was actually the last, or what was needed to start it. I think, according to my wife's version of the story, I say her version because at times women forget some things that the women are asking for. So she said she was craving, because I remember that maybe she was pregnant for her last born. So she said she was craving for bread. I remember I was always looking for bread. Maybe it was because of that.
Okay.
So then afterwards, she wanted to have a business. So she was thinking of what business can I do. So while I was running up and down, talking to people about setting up an African store that everybody, very popular in our community, I met someone that told me, have you thought of bread?
Wow.
And I was wondering, bread, how much is a loaf of bread? $3. He said, I don't know that way. I sell up to 150 loaves for the Ghanaian bakeries every week. I imagine every store selling 150 on the average. And I said, like, how many stores do we have in Ontario, in Toronto? And I just went home, did a bit of calculation. Let's assume we have about 60 to 100 stores. So I went for 60 times 150 loaves. I got the number. Okay, if Nigerians are the one eating the bread, more than every other Africans in Toronto, then it means we have what's it called last thing? The purchasing power, we're the one buying it. Okay, if you can get 50% of what Nigerians are doing, I just did a calculation, and I think it came to about, I can't remember all the figures in my business plan and projection at that point, but when I did my projection, I calculated that I'll be able to make around $4,000 to $6,000 every month. And for me, I just thought it was okay. If I add that to my salary, then I'll be fine. So that's how I started. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. Tom.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Tom Oluwole. I run a management consulting firm now. But a bit about my backstory. I came to Canada just 1 year after what I did. Mine was 2017 with the family. We came in 2017, and when I came, it took about 7 months before I got my first job with Deloitte. That's when I think we connected. Yeah. So I worked with Deloitte for a while. Then in 2020 was when I felt like I was ready to start a business. So I've always wanted to do a consulting business. It's always been in my heart. And joining Deloitte was part of my learning process to be able to actually do that. Anyways, when January 2020 came, I resigned from Deloitte and I started the business. Nobody told me that COVID was going to happen that year. So by March of 2020, the business was struggling. All the contracts we had been cancelled, and eventually by August I had to go back to a 9 to 5. So very similar to Wale's story, for the next 4 years thereabout, I was doing the 9 to 5 and the business side by side. I learned a lot during that time. I learned to your point about like bi-weekly, I started paying myself from the business early just to test what that looked like. I learned how to balance time between 9 to 5 and the business. It's grown since then. And early this year, although somehow I sensed that this year was when I was going to move fully into the business, I was still dragging my feet. And you know how God will sometimes just push you. That's how January, my last employer just came and said they were laying me off. And I was laid off January, but thankfully I was already ready for it by that time. By January, we already had like 10 people working with us. Now we're about 15, all across different parts, and we're just basically providing strategy, HR, and sales consulting services to organizations. I'm excited to be here. I know you've been doing this for a while, and I hope some things I share today will be helpful to everyone.
Amazing. And so what really inspired you to venture into, business? I think you've done this twice.
Yeah.
So what was the drive behind that? For him, it was really about the need and also probably money, as we wanted to make more money, for sure. But for you, what was that? What did that look like?
Yeah, I think I would say it started from just a desire to do something along the lines of consulting and coaching. It's really something I've enjoyed doing for a while. It was part of why I wanted to work in a place like Deloitte, to just learn what that felt like being here in Canada. So yeah, the desire was there, but also there was a need. I realized many organizations couldn't afford places like Deloitte and KPMG, but needed those services.
Yeah.
And then on the coaching side as well, I knew there were people that could do better if they just knew better. So I wanted to find a way to help them to do better. But to be practical, I would say that money also was a big part of that, because I realized that here, no matter how much you work and they increase your salary, the tax system would make sure that you are within a particular level. And one of the ways you can break out of that is through having a business. If you're thinking of, if breaking out of a certain financial barrier is your thing, then you really want to consider business.
I think it's everyone's
No, some people are like, you know what, just give me my, I'm okay. Because business is, I mean, we'll talk about it. It's not like the money is going to be coming to you there. Some people prefer to outsource the money coming in part.
Yeah.
Just pay me my salary and let me be fine. So it's honestly, I don't think it's for everybody, but if somebody feels like this is what they want to do, then
Amazing. So I'm going to ask you another question, and I'll come back to Wale Rabiu. So what were the first steps you took to bring your business to life?
For me personally, the first steps were, because of the kind of business I was doing, I built the first website we had by myself, because I realized that the moment you're showing up to people, asking them and telling them they want to check you out somewhere. So setting up the website on Wix, it was over Christmas of 2019, that's what I did. Then of course I registered the business, set up an account, those like basic things. But to actually get business, which is like really why you're doing business, I had started reaching out to potential partners while I was still at Deloitte. And I was just fortunate, you know, I think before the recording we were talking about just doing certain things consistently and you don't know which one would hit. So I was networking like crazy from the time I was trying to get a job. Because actually it took me 7 months before I got my first job here in Canada. So that networking skill, I had just carried it on even when I started working. And along the way, I got connected with an SVP of one of the hospital systems in Toronto. She connected me with a lady who runs a consulting firm, and that was how I became a subcontractor in her consulting firm. And that was how really I got into the consulting world here. I started learning and then building my own network, and I guess as they say, the rest is history. So that if I was going to ever say the pivotal point in like the business journey, it would be connecting with that lady, and then from there, learning under her for sure, of course adding value to her own business, and then building 3G Action, which is the business we run from there as well.
So what I hear you saying is understand what you want to do, put yourself together, your website, register, like do all the main stuff that when people try to look for where you are, they have something to, and then network, build your network. That's very critical. Wale, what were some of the hardest obstacles you faced as an immigrant entrepreneur? Because you started this business, I'd say 2 years after you came here, and I'm sure you were still trying to understand the lay of the land, and then you started your business. What were the obstacles you faced over the last years? I won't think you're no more facing obstacles now, except you're obstacle-free.
No, I appreciate that fact that, of course, when you're in business, it's challenging, and I think that was what he was trying to say when he said that it's not as if the money will just be flying in. No, you have to work for the money. You have to, if you're doing 9 to 5, you can get home and switch off your phone and say, I'm done with work today. But as an entrepreneur, you're not done. You're probably sleeping and you're thinking of the next thing. You know. So the challenges are still there, definitely. But the most daunting ones when we started the business, the first thing was capital. The second one was human resources, getting people to do the job. Well, I will not tell anybody to see funding or capital as a constraint. Just identify it as a constraint, but it shouldn't stop you from doing your business or pursuing your business goals or ideas. It shouldn't. It's the least that will stop you, because when you have ideas, trust me, the money will come. There's several people that have funds that don't even know what to do with it. So if you come up with a very good idea, people will identify with it and they'll fund it. Depends on how you're able to tell them about your idea, your vision, and people come into it. So number one was, how do you raise a fund? Setting up a bakery here in this part of the world, because it has to be automated to a certain level. There's some things you can't do manually. You're not going to get anybody to help you with it if you choose to do it manually. So back home, you can.
Labor is cheaper.
It's cheap and you can get people to do that. So the first thing was getting money to buy the equipment. Then when we started, I think it was around 100,000 on the average, plus or minus, to set up a bakery.
$100,000.
$100,000, yeah, to set up a bakery. But today, an average franchisee that is setting up now, they spend up to $200,000 to set up a bakery. So that's to tell you how much money you need to.
Wow.
So it's becoming more and more difficult because, of course, things are not. Since after COVID, everything changed. Then Russia and Ukraine war came, the logistic issue around the world.
Wow.
Goods that were easily available, moving around, became much more difficult. Some of this equipment, most of the good bakery equipment comes from Europe, Turkey, Germany. Now you have to place order, wait for weeks, months to get it. Unlike before when everything could move easily. So the first thing was fund to start. That was the first major challenge we encountered. Then the second was people to do the job. And for me, those were very, very tough things. Here in Canada, people will say, "Oh, how come you can't access loans, funds, grants?" For a new immigrant, a new business person, then again, you're not an immigrant from the color of your skin is somewhere again. All of these things have a way of affecting your chances of getting funded from the bank. I've approached a bank before that were even doubting our financial statement because they didn't believe what type of bread are you selling. Exactly. Are you selling this much? They just didn't see it happening. So for them, despite being the same bank, they were still doubting the bank statement.
Oh, they were for the same bank.
I tell you.
They thought you were trying to it was probably money laundering.
Maybe you just had to put money in your bank account to be able to access
the loan.
The loan.
That's weird.
That's not genuinely the sales from your product. Because for her, one of the things the lady said was, how are you able to sell your bread in the midst of all other bread in the supermarket?
Oh, okay.
Which is a very good question. How would you bring a bread from Nigeria and the bread goes into no frills and you're competing with the top of the range?
Just you don't want to taste it.
That was all we needed to do.
Exactly.
The taste and
then Gen Z would say that's a period. So
these are the two major issues for me, when we started. Of course, there'll be some other minor ones. And these are normal things that will come up in business, trying to set up a business. But I must commend the ease of setting up business in this part of the world. It was easy.
Yeah, it's cool.
The fact that you can go on your laptop, register a federal corporation, and you don't have to travel to, Ottawa or look for a consultant. You can sit down and do it.
Yeah.
So the only one that probably gives you a bit of challenges is, okay, when you now want to do city registration for your business license, apart from certificate of incorporation that you get from the, then city now wants to check everything.
Like inspect it to make sure.
Zoning, what do they call it, health inspection, just to be sure that you're fit for what they call business in their own municipal, Apart from that, it's easy to register business.
And does that change over time? Because all of this happened at the beginning of setting up business. Like when you look at your business today, do you see this kind of obstacles still? Or is that, because I know life is in stages, right? And so the stage at which you are now, would you still say human capital is like the most critical?
No. You're right. The challenges will change over time.
Yeah.
The new ones, fresh one will come. There's some that you've been able to deal with and you never have to worry about them again because you've now understand how to deal with them. For example, funding became, when the low, as in, not really important in terms of the challenges we will face. But that doesn't mean now, when we started, it was just Grey Matlock Bakery as Grey Matlock Bakery. But today we have 7 franchise locations across the whole of Canada. 4 of them are in Ontario, and we have 3 outside of Ontario, So now, when they start their own too, the oldest is probably around 3 years. So they experience the same challenges that we experience starting up. So it's like as if everybody must go through it if you're starting afresh. But for us, it's no longer. I now have some fresh challenges that I have to deal with now.
Like consistency in the quality of the product across, because you have different
Quality assurance is what every business will keep working on.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing thing. You can't stop it, except you want to die as a business, because there are new businesses coming up and they want to compete. They want to take your own market share. If you're not holding on to it very well, they will take it. So, but the fact is, we have a way of ensuring same quality across all board. Just the same thing that Coca-Cola does for its business. There's a concentrate that comes from the head office to everybody. So we have the chunk of our recipe or ingredient that comes from the head office. So anywhere you buy the bread, whether you're buying it from Oshawa, Windsor, Waterloo, Ottawa, New Brunswick, Saskatoon, Calgary, you are still tasting the same nourishing agege bread or butterfruit bread.
That's advert there. And so, Tom, people might see you now and say, "Oh, Tom started his business in January and now he's doing amazing. He travels everywhere across the world." Honestly, at this point, to deliver service, and it's amazing. Like, we're proud of you. We look at you and we're like, "How did?" But people don't know when you started, right? It's been a long time coming. When you had to stop the business, you had to start over again, and all the challenges and everything you went through. And so, how did your mindset, how did your mindset need to shift in order to begin to succeed in what you're doing today?
Yeah, great question. I'll connect it with the question you asked about obstacles, because I feel like it's helpful to share a different perspective. First of all, I just want to appreciate your wisdom in bringing Wale and myself, because as Wale was talking, I realized the difference in our businesses. And I think for your viewers, that would be helpful for them to understand that depending on your business, some obstacles will be different. So for us, because it was a service-based business, funding was not a main challenge for us, right? Because we weren't buying equipment, we weren't renting a physical space. All I needed was my laptop, a website, like I said, because people needed your digital presence, and then knowledge, and then the market. People to find, because in your case, there was a market. Right, so for us, there's a market, but this market doesn't know you. So the penetrating that market was the bigger challenge for us. So the obstacle we faced was actually being able to win clients to deliver service to them, and that was huge because we were new. I was new in the country. 3G Action, nobody knew. So I realized I had to first of all try and build my own profile and brand, and that wasn't easy for a new immigrant, because then there was the whole idea of how do you even show up. How do you talk? I said, okay, let me go for speaking engagements. I went for a speaking engagement once. I thought I was even speaking good English during one of the breaks.
Probably good.
In my own, and the guy just comes to me and says, so which accent is that?
Okay, exactly.
And the way he asked that question, it wasn't like he was curious. It was like, it felt to me like he was trying to make it sound like condescending, exactly. So that kind of shook my confidence. But I mean, after the break, I continued speaking my whatever accent it was, because we were colonized by British, we watched American movies. Sometimes the accent would just fly a bit here and there. But anyways, so that was a big challenge for me. The second, then, just like Wale said, was finding people that could work alongside. Because again, in consulting, you want to find people that can do the work and are good. Because some people can do the work, but they are not good in the sense of they can take the client away from you and start doing their own thing on the side. So people that are really reliable that way, and we're grateful to God for the people we've been able to get to work with us and support what we do. So, mindset. For me, in the early days, it was basically around time management, recognizing that whether I worked or I didn't work in 9 to 5, I was getting paid. But here, if you don't put in the time for the work, nothing is going to come out of this, right? So that shift in I work or I don't work, money is coming. I know in 9 to 5 you still need to work, but honestly, if you start a business, you realize it's not the same. It's not the same. So time management was a big part. I had to just get more prudent in how I did manage my time, what I was doing per time, and sort of like blocking out time for certain things. The second, I would say, from a mindset point of view, then was just around asking myself what I'm doing. How is this really driving value and revenue, if you understand what I mean. Let me give an example. So there's something I love to do. I love coaching people. I love helping people. I love writing. I enjoy doing those things. But if they don't directly as quickly as possible translate to revenue. I've
It's
thought
just
to charity
passion.
or
It's just
exactly.
passion.
It become passion project. So I had to be brutal in asking myself, does this thing bring money like to pay salary at the end of the month? If the answer is no, okay, I can still do it, but it will not be my priority. So every day I show up asking myself, what is the thing closest to payment? So I will first of all do invoices for clients, deliverables for clients, proposals for clients, before I now get into like, let's write LinkedIn posts, let's do coaching, complimentary coaching. So it's just a kind of like mindset shift. Maybe finally there would be a possibility. Having worked 9 to 5 for many years, where I would always push for salary increase, I'll tell them, oh, mortgage is this high, inflation is this high, and they'll come back with 2.5% increase that will end up being $20 bi-weekly. That does not change anything in your life. So
I shouldn't be rolling my eyes. And I'm in HR, so
so if you're not careful, that thing can begin to put a barrier on how you think. To your point about ideas, right? You have an idea, and if you have a limiting belief, it just knocks out that idea before you even give it a chance, right? So one of the things I had to just really work on was saying, any idea, now that I'm running my own business, any idea, if thought about, and executed upon properly, can also generate value. So I would say, again, time management, focusing on things that drive value, revenue, and then finally possibility thinking will be the three.
That's great. And that's why you all should subscribe, because I'm doing this as a passion, but it needs to make money.
Yes.
Subscribe. Okay. Subscribe so that I can start making money.
Before you ask a question, let me talk about passion and my position about passion. I've told a couple of guys, ask me, oh, passion. I said, passion is beautiful. But do you think I have passion for bread?
That was why I asked that. It wasn't a need for you. Like,
No.
you really wanted to make your bread.
Coming to Canada, I've said it at several events, speaking engagement, that I couldn't even fry puff off. I didn't know anything about bread. It was just an opportunity that came up when we arrived and we decided to launch on it. So I don't have passion for bakery or bread. I have passion for business. Been doing business in Nigeria before coming. Some people will be surprised when I've always been surprised when I mention stuff like I used to run a poultry farm in Nigeria. I had about 25,000 birds, selling 400 crates of egg every day.
Wow.
At what point did you do that? I don't know. I'll close maybe Thursday or Friday, depending on how busy I find myself working, I'll leave Lagos on a Friday and come back Sunday evening. I'll be in the farm in Abeokuta. I'll leave Lagos and I'll be in Abeokuta just to monitor and help manage the poultry. So for me, that was more like a passion for me. Because when I was in secondary school, I worked in a poultry farm before. So I love that.
You love farming.
I love farming generally. So it was like a passion.
Yeah.
But coming to Canada, I prayed, we sat down and prayed about taking business opportunities that we find around there. And we're lucky to have found this one. So it was like a business idea, not that it was it. So I will always have passion for any business that will bring money. But not, it doesn't have to be bread.
Of course. So if you have passion for something and it brings money, then good for you.
Yes, good for you. Yes,
But
good. Yeah.
if you have passion and it doesn't bring money, except it's passion for winning souls for Christ, just dead it up. Right?
Dead it up, or ask yourself, how can you convert this
to money.
to something that makes money?
Yeah.
I think there's a place that passion is also still helpful.
Yeah.
Because when you start a business and the money doesn't come in, what will fuel you and keep you going is your passion for what you're doing in some shape or form. People talk about consistency, that is the output, but for everybody, what makes you consistent is different. Some people is their passion, some people is just that belief that one day this thing will hit. Not everybody has that like long term, one day it will hit. So some people is just like, okay, I enjoy this, I'll still do this even if they don't pay me. I'll enjoy helping people. So I feel like, to your point though, if the passion cannot be redirected to making money, then kill it. But if you can challenge yourself to think of a way to convert that. I love talking, I love consulting, I actually enjoy what I do. And for me, the risk is, like I said earlier, doing it but not ensuring that I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah.
I'll still help people as much as I have time by God's grace too, but making sure that I am not cutting down on the revenue because it's something I enjoy doing. That's where the risk is there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I not that I'm disagreeing with you.
Okay.
When the bread business started, it wasn't passion that was pushing me.
So something else to push you.
That's what
It wasn't passion.
That money or passion.
Yeah. You know, it was more of how much was I being paid at Rogers then?
I don't know.
Maybe it was about 2,600 every 2 weeks. You know.
Someone is probably listening to you and saying,
And that was
wow, that's a lot of money.
That was in 2016. Up to 2019 I left. You know. Of course I was earning well. My salary was about 80,000, well over 80,000. I started with 8,000, then there was an increase to 70,000. You know. Even anybody earning 8,000 this year is still good. You know, surplus of 2016, you know. So, but what that happened at some point was, when I started the business was, okay, how many loaves of bread will I sell to give me this? I realized that what I was waiting for 2 weeks to collect, I could actually make it within 5 days. And that was what was pushing me.
Okay.
Driving me. Yeah, then.
Not as a now. I just wanted to put that in. Continue, sorry.
Yeah, for your viewers.
You know, your business can succeed beyond your imagination.
Yeah.
So I looked at it then that if I sell enough bread, I will. So that became my passion. The motivation. Well, I think it was one of me.
Yeah, motivation, yeah.
So instead of waiting for 2 weeks, I can earn this money in 4 days. And that was what, although the money wasn't coming, but I put my eyes on the target. Now if I'm able to achieve this, how do I achieve this? Instead of giving 12 retail stores, if I can double it to 24, I should be able to get this. If I can make it 30, if I make it 60, and that's what I wrote down. And I tell people, before you go into any business, whether it's service, manufacturing, anything, you must have a business plan.
Yeah.
You must have a projection. And I'm sure that's one of the things you teach people, you know.
Yeah.
You must have. If you don't have, you don't know where you're going. It's as if you're jumping into a river without a life jacket. Something must guide you. Yeah. And it's a live document that you keep updating anyway.
Of course.
So what it was for us 9 years ago is different.
Definitely would have changed.
You know. So it keep changing. But you must have it. So passion is good. I know, for example, farming is something that I still want to do.
Okay.
Right now. I feel for any nation or for any family, if you take away food away from your problem, you've solved more than half of the problem.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
You know? So for me, it's really annoying that major part of Africa cannot even feed itself. And that's why for me, farming will always be an interesting. So if you see me back in Lagos tomorrow, it's to become a farmer.
Of course, that's a lot of money. Even here, it's a lot of money as well.
Yes, yeah.
All right, so my last question, and just in one sentence, there's someone watching this right now and saying, I really do not know where to start, what to do. I have no passion. Yeah, money is my motivation, but I get tired of business. I don't even know what to do. In one sentence, what would be your advice to that person? I'll start from you.
Where to start is to be sure that what you want to do is actually a need. Find somebody who needs it. Offer it to them for free or near free. You learn faster by doing than by just hoping, wishing, thinking. Writing a plan is critical, I would say, first of all, because beyond what a plan gives you in terms of clarity, if you're a person of faith, it's actually also a way for you to anchor your faith on something. So you write a plan of what you want to see. Don't even go 3-5 years, just like 6-12 months, what you want to see. And then start from where you are with whoever's around you. Be open to earning little or nothing because it's part of the learning. And then as you now learn, you can then grow from there and scale. But yeah, just start. Reading about it, watching TikTok about it or YouTube about it for long is not the answer. Just start. And then you will learn faster by doing it. Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Okay. In one sentence.
I'll start from
Okay.
just start.
Just start.
I'll start from that just start, and I'll tell you why that just start is that very important to me. After we started the business, the bakery business in 2016, I met more than 4 people that were serious about doing the same thing. But they didn't start. They showed me, a particular one showed me equipment where they store it in the warehouse. I said, we bought all of this equipment. Someone showed me a place that they wanted to use. That is the place that I was hoping to use for the bakery. Another customer helping me to sell bread today showed me a particular store that she had to now convert to a meat store eventually. And that's what she wanted to use for the bread. So, just start, don't procrastinate. Just start. Because by the time you start, there's always an advantage, early mover advantage. If you are the first and you know what you're doing, you're likely to last longer than any other person. Let them come. Keep moving. Keep moving. After you start, just keep moving. Just keep moving. Because if the masquerade is chasing you in Yoruba land, they tell you keep running. Because as you're getting tired, the masquerade is getting tired. So don't stop.
That's great. That's actually a great analogy, honestly. It's a bit like never, obstacles will come, but just keep going.
So now to the question specifically, I believe in multiple sources of income. Beyond starting that thing that you want, just look for some other things to do. When I'm not selling bread, I'm doing some other stuff. I have York University and another organization, Black Entrepreneurship Alliance, that I do business mentoring from there. They have
okay, you're advertising on my YouTube channel.
I thought I'm advising your viewers how to have multiple sources of
okay, I'm just trying to make money, whatever.
Yeah. I'm not saying, so let's say for example, I'm not selling bread today. I'm talking to other food business founders on how to scale, how to start, how to take the product into the big supermarket based on what we've been able to achieve with our product, you know. So I did that for York University, I did for Black Entrepreneurship Alliance, and they pay me, you know.
That's cool.
So I'm just saying, financial freedom, your passion will bring money or your 9 to 5 will bring money, but why not have multiple? I have a lot of friends that during COVID, they became very free financially, and they were able to solve so many problems. And it was just because of some of the challenges that came with COVID and how people were able to benefit. For example, some people were doing 3 jobs, 2 jobs during COVID, and they're able to pay down loans that they didn't even know when they're going to pay down. Some are able to buy properties, you know, and change their life. You know. So that's the advantage or the benefit of not relying on one single source of income. You know, so we've seen it happen to us during this COVID. A lot of people were doing 2 jobs, 3. I even know a guy that had 3 computers in his basement, 3 different jobs. You know, stressing himself, but he was making the money. So for me, I believe multiple sources of income will help too. You know.
Well, definitely it will. So that should be your, the call to start. Get multiple sources of income and just start, just do it now. And I will do small advertisement, hoping I will get paid after this. So you all know Grey Matlock. You all know Wale Rabiu. If you have not eaten a gigi bread, whether you're Nigerian or non-Nigerian, you're missing a lot. And I found out a couple of weeks back that in his bakeries, there are pastries like meat pie, sausages and all those things. I like food. And honestly, I was blown away. So if you have not visited any of the locations, visit them because you will get nice pastries and very many things. And gigi bread is life. So please, like my children call it gigi bread, but they don't miss it. They don't like any other bread apart from gigi bread. And don't miss on that. And he's talked about a lot of things it does, management consulting, HR, many other things. I'm going to post a link to his website as well. If you need some support, if you need coaching, any kind of coaching, communication, whatever it is, you're not doing well at work, you need something, just reach out to Tom. And it's tested and tried and tested, glad to say. Tried and tested. You wouldn't, you're making a great financial investment in that. So I'm going to post links to their various websites and also to their businesses as well. So please do reach out, follow as well. One thing that I didn't tell you all at the beginning, I did that on purpose. If you watch my video, you probably already know. You can ask me any question. Nothing could be outside this, just one question, but you have to ask it as one, not individual question.
There's something I was curious about, and I asked that before the show. Okay. That was why.
I said it in my first video.
I was going to say that. So what's your end goal?
I said it in my first video.
So say it again.
Why?
Is that a question?
End goal. What's your end goal?
I said it in the first video.
Okay.
Why? Okay. So check my first video.
Okay.
So why did I answer to that.
Ask me another question.
I'm not gonna. I can't talk.
You guys have to work for this question.
What do you think will be your first income source through this YouTube channel? Would it be sponsorship? Would it be ad? Would it be viewers coming through? What are you hoping will be like the
Do
first
you agree with that question?
income source? Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, multiple sources of income.
She has taken
I'm
the
taking the message.
Thanks.
Multiple sources of income. At the same time, sponsorship, ads, it could be one, like you said, it could be one video that would just go out there. And honestly, and maybe I don't know if I should put it out there right now, but I'm also trying to learn other cultures, like through the eyes of people. Right?
Nice.
And it's something that you've never been to Australia, you've never been to all those countries, you don't know what their culture is. You probably visited, but you only went to the all-inclusive and had fun, and you don't know about those. And I'm going to bring that to you because it's about curating life. It's not just about learning how to start a business and stuff. Like everything that makes your life valuable, and so I'm going to start doing that soon. Just learning other cultures through the eyes of other people. So it could be whatever, but multiple sources. Send your sponsorship.
Nice.
I'm ready. My arms are open. Yes, no, I've advertised for them today, so I'm going to send my invoice. I'm just letting you know. Thank you.
All right.
All right. All right. Thank you all for listening. I'm sure you learned a lot today. I did, and already putting that to work. So if you want to start a business, start now. Many things that you need to do, they already shared it. I'm not going to reiterate it. Just watch it and start to do it. And if there's any topic that you want me to talk about and I haven't spoken about, just send a message in the comment section. But please subscribe and forward to other people that need to learn this. Multiple sources of income. Be one of your driving forces, and passion is key. It's okay, but also be motivated to make money.
Yeah.